So if you are someone who looks upon yourself as socially awkward, if for whatever reason you think there's something different about you or something wrong with you that's making it harder for you to communicate with people than the average person, or you have to just put in more effort into social situations, it's harder for you than it is for everyone else, then I'm making this video for you. Because those are all the things I believed about myself for the longest time, and I never understood why until now. So I used to look upon myself as a socially awkward person. I grew up very introverted. I'm still very introverted, but I grew up with a lot of anxiety too. And I kind of thought the awkwardness was just an inseparable part of that. You know, it's not something I can change. I never truly felt comfortable around the people I called my friends in school. It always felt like I was trying too hard, compensating for something, you know. Everything I felt said kind of forced, like I'm trying a bit too hard to get them to like me, and hanging out with them sometimes just felt more stressful than enjoyable. And the reason for that was I always suspected that, you know, they didn't really care if I was around or not. I didn't have loads of options in school, so it was kind of like, it felt like the power dynamics almost like shifted in their favour a bit, like I had to almost win them over, otherwise I'd have no one. But I kind of got the hint that they were like kind of indifferent about me being there. Sure, we might like have laughs and get on individually, but on some level, like as a group, I don't feel like I'm really like one of the main members of the group. I feel like a side character. I feel like they're just tolerating me. Maybe even some of them secretly don't like me that much. And that always made me feel like, you know, I need to be careful what I say around them. If I say the wrong thing in this situation, then they can just get rid of me. Or sometimes it felt like I was forcing things. Everything I said just felt like forced and kind of like unnatural. Like, would I really say this if I was feeling comfortable? And a lot of the time I just felt like awkward, like I just didn't belong. Like the things I was saying just didn't feel like, they just didn't feel like natural. It didn't feel like it was coming from me. And that kind of applied to other social situations growing up. Like, it always felt like, it never felt natural to me. Like, it always felt like it was coming from like a place of trying to win people over, always being kind of afraid about saying the wrong thing, hesitating. Conversations just felt like very life or death. And when I would make a mistake, because I'm like this, because I am very self-critical, and I have a tendency to think about things deeply, but that also means like my own flaws. And I just play things over and over again in my head. And the other thing I'd say is that people actually called me awkward, like some of my friends and people in my class. And I think you end up like internalizing these beliefs. Like when you think other people see you a certain way, you kind of think, there must be a reason for that. I must be different. I must be awkward. And what I'm about to say, it's truly one of the most life-changing things I've discovered, and it's almost like recontextualized everything that I felt about like myself and what I perceived as awkwardness. And I'm here to tell you that you're not awkward. There's not something wrong with you. In the right situation, you're probably one of the most, you're someone who people would be lucky to spend time with. Like, you probably have such a personality, like you're probably such a character. It's just in certain situations people don't get to see that. And your behavior is almost being like mistaken for awkwardness because there's some part of you which is not allowing yourself to access that like natural personality that you have. Like you are naturally a fun person to hang out with. So I'll just get to the point. The reason you come across as awkward, or you see yourself as awkward in a lot of social situations, is simply because you don't feel safe in your environment. You don't feel truly comfortable expressing who you really are. So we've got to explain this in the context of like the nervous system. So your nervous system is like responsible for detecting threats in your environment. Like when you're a fucking caveman, like you hadn't properly evolved, your nervous system was there to protect you from like threats in your environment. Like let's say like predators, lions, saber-toothed, bears. It was there to, in those situations where you were under threat, it was there to tell you, do I fight or do I fly? Do I run away? We don't have to worry about threats in our environment now, at least threats that are actually going to kill us. But in the modern day, our nervous system responds to anything that we perceive as capable of doing us emotional harm. What do I mean by emotional harm? So, when you were younger, or let's say when I was younger, in school, getting picked on by bullies or getting made fun of in front of everyone. Sometimes the teacher, I get like a really mean teacher who'd pick on me, like maybe when I wasn't paying attention, and then use it as an opportunity to humiliate me in front of the whole class. Everyone's laughing, and I'm feeling some like great sense of shame and embarrassment, like public ridicule. And your nervous system, it stores that emotional pain, and it tells itself, it's very clever, it tells itself, I never want to feel like this again. So anything that reminds me of this experience, I'm going to trigger some kind of protective response in my body that's going to alert me to when I might be in danger of like feeling emotional pain. Now this is really interesting. Do you know what that protective strategy is? It's anxiety. So this was fucking life-changing for me. It's like, anytime I feel anxiety right now, that's my nervous system telling me. It's reminded of something. So something that's happening right now that's causing me anxiety, that's triggered this like response in me. My nervous system is reminded of something bad that happened to me in the past, some kind of emotional pain that happened to me in the past. So, how do I put this? So, when you feel that anxiety, that's your body telling yourself, I think we might be in danger right now. I think there's some kind of threat in this environment, something which is going to cause me emotional pain. Whether that's the case or not might not be true, but that's the reality of it. Something in this current situation, like let's paint a picture. Like let's say I'm talking to a girl and I'm trying to impress her. Maybe I'm trying to get her number, but I'm feeling anxious. The reason I'm feeling anxious is my body is reacting to something in the past. It's telling me, right, there's something you should kind of have your guard up right now, because there might be a risk of this going all wrong. Maybe you get rejected. Maybe she embarrasses you. And that's going to be painful. So my body is saying, right, be on your guard. Get ready to fucking run away. Your nervous system doesn't care about like you looking cool, or you like being popular, or even you being happy. It's purely there to keep you alive. Now the problem with the nervous system is when it's activated like that, when it's activated, it's impossible for you to think clearly. It's impossible for you to like think of what to say next. You know, when your brain freezes when you're anxious and you can't think clearly, you can't think of what to say next. It feels like you have to like put in loads of effort and you're forcing things. That all comes from the fact that you feel like you're in danger right now. And your body is turning off every part of your brain that isn't responsible for like keeping you alive. Like the part of your body responsible for like creativity and thinking what to say next, it's switched off. And that is what causes a lot of these like awkward behaviors, where we feel like we're forcing it, where suddenly we feel really self-conscious. I probably should have said this first, but compare when you feel awkward with when you're hanging around your true friends or people that you trust, like family members. Because for me now, wasn't always the case, but I've got some very close friends that I can rely on. And when I speak to them, I don't feel awkward. I feel like myself. I feel like I can express myself. Usually I'm a quiet person, but I feel like I can be very loud and energetic around them. I don't think too hard about what to say next. In fact, that doesn't even register in my mind. I'm not worried about not having something else to say next. It just doesn't register in my mind. You know, if we talk, it's fine. If we don't talk, it's fine. I'm comfortable either way. That's how we feel when we're around our friends, because we feel safe in those environments. We feel like we can say anything around those people that we trust. We're not under threat, we're not in danger, so we can relax and we can act naturally. But in situations that remind us of the past, let's say something in the present day reminds me of those experiences I had with my friends where I wasn't sure if they actually liked me, and I was so afraid of getting kicked out of the group for saying the wrong thing. Something in the present day, maybe meeting some new person who reminds me of them, triggers those feelings inside of me, and I start to feel really nervous and anxious and like I'm in danger. And I'm in survival mode, and my brain doesn't allow me to think clearly and creatively, and I become what I would perceive as awkward. Does that mean I'm an awkward person? I don't think so. Because when I'm normal, when I feel safe in an environment, I'm not awkward. I'm a character. I'm able to express my personality freely, and I like that version of myself. I don't so much like the version of myself where I feel awkward, but I understand where it comes from and I'm accepting of it. So in terms of how we can kind of start healing from this, and at the very least not be a bit kinder to ourselves and not perceive ourselves as so awkward, is to first recognize like when these old fears are being triggered. It's like there are plenty of situations I face every week where I start to feel like a bit anxious. But now I understand where it's coming from. Like I'll tell myself, my body, my nervous system is reacting to the past right now. It's reacting to some kind of past experience where I felt like I was in danger. But the reality is I can't predict the future. I don't know how these new people are. I can't say for sure whether they're like these old people. And my judgment of them might start to be kind of clouded, but it's based on the past. So sometimes just reminding myself, okay, this is what's happening. I'm reacting to the past, but that's separate from right now. You know, I'm not in any danger. Sometimes that in itself, just like acknowledging what's going on, can be enough to help. Like that really helps me. And secondly, it's something I just wanted to add to that is, yeah, there are going to be times when those feelings are rightfully being triggered. Like, sometimes I meet people, and occasionally it's hard to tell, but I get the sense that they're like not. You can tell pretty easily that, they're not the right kind of people that I want to be spending time with. Like, for instance, I've talked about before how sometimes when I meet people who are like very dominant or like very, very like assertive, and they kind of like, the people who are maybe very extroverted and they like the attention being on them, I kind of retreat into myself a bit. I kind of go in on myself and become very quiet. Sometimes I can kind of tell that this is not the kind of person. I don't mean to say they're necessarily a bad person, but sometimes they are. And I think hanging out with this person is not going to bring the right side out of me, if that makes sense. It's kind of recognizing when I'm never really going to feel safe around these people. Maybe they are going to maybe they have already mocked you. This is what I should say. If they show you with their behavior that they're kind of that type of person, maybe they are going to add to your insecurities. Maybe they're not the kind of person to spend time with. But equally, there are going to be some people who are absolutely fine and you could potentially be friends with one day, but they're still going to trigger those same feelings within you. So it's very complicated. I guess it's just like a process of, I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but I guess it's kind of a process of just trusting other people's behavior. Like, they'll show you what kind of person they are over time, and you can decide for yourself whether they're right for you. But yeah, secondly, the second way I've been healing from this is getting out of my comfort zone in small ways. So when I feel like I'm in danger, that anxiety's been triggered and I feel awkward. After I've separated what's happening now from the past, acknowledging that there's something going on, I find a small way that feels manageable to step outside my comfort zone, to kind of dispel this belief that I'm in danger. Like, if I can do this, I can do it, and then I can see afterwards that nothing's going to go wrong. There's nothing bad going to happen to me. So actually what I found is work has been a good environment for this, because I know that even if I make a mistake at work, people aren't going to judge me. Everyone's professional. We're all here to just get on with our job. But it's things like in meetings, I genuinely might have just sat there for an hour without saying anything. And I'm kind of weighing up, do I speak up now, or do I just sit here in silence? And I've kind of set myself little challenges, I'm going to speak up once in this meeting, or I'm going to ask one question, just to get myself out of my comfort zone in a small way. This is not something I'd usually do, but I'm going to do it. Nothing bad's going to happen after. And then my nervous system is trained. It knows that actually I'm not in danger in this situation. I've got nothing to fear. And it's better the next time. So those kind of environments like work are very good, because you just know there's not really going to be any no one's really going to judge you. No one's going to make fun of you for getting something wrong, at least where I work. So it's just looking for opportunities like that to speak up. I recommend speaking up when you wouldn't usually speak up, but in an environment where you feel safe. And that's over time going to retrain your nervous system and kind of prove to you that, okay, you're all right, nothing bad's going to happen to you. So that's all I've got to say for now. Hopefully you got some value from this. 9 times out of 10, you're not an awkward person. It's just this kind of threat response that we're put in. If you take yourself out of that environment and put you around some people that you trust, you're probably a fucking really interesting person. That's what I found.